Playback Pro interface and what all the features can do. In the upper left-hand corner, we have our tempo and time signature display. This is going to show us the tempo and the time signature of our current song. Next is our counter. That's going to show us the start and end time of our song with the bottom numbers, and the numbers on top are going to show us our current position in the song. So if I scroll later on, you can see that, and how long the entire song is. We also have the option to set a custom start or end time. If we click the counter, tap it, and then tap the set start point, you can see I can set from the current point or scroll to wherever in the song I want to. If I go to the set end point, I can do the same, and I also have the option to enable a 5-second fade out, which is a great feature to have great transitions. Next, let's look at our transport controls. Our first button here is our return to start position. That's going to jump to the beginning of our song or whatever value we've defined as the start of our song. Our next button is our play state button. That's going to function as both a play and pause depending on what state our audio is in. Right now that it's playing, it's going to become a pause button so that when I press it, the music will pause. Auto fade allows us to fade out all our tracks minus our clicking guide so that our band can continue playing along. But if we want to bring that out just spontaneously to have a little chorus, then when we press it again, we can bring it back up. Incredibly cool feature to add spontaneity to what we're doing. Next is our settings area. Our first button here is our edit mode. When we click that, that's going to allow us to add or delete song sections to our song. So I can delete my verse there by pressing minus, I can add it back by pressing the plus. And if I go right here and press on that repeat button, that's going to allow me to define how many times I want to repeat a section, and it's going to actually add that into my song. So when I get back out of edit, you'll see now I have the 3 pre-choruses added in. Next is our waveform display. That's going to allow me to see the waveform either as zoomed in, normal, or zoomed out. Next is our settings button. The settings button allows us to add or delete songs from our playlist. We can tap the red minus button to delete a song from our playlist, or tap the green plus sign to add a song into our playlist. We can also auto-link our songs, which is automatically going to start our next song at the completion of our previous song. Also in our settings area, we have the About section. This allows you to contact support or log out of the app. Our manual is next in the Getting Started section. And then in the advanced settings, you're going to be able to enable functions like viewing the waveform grid, enabling and locking pan, as well as changing our default guide cue language. The playlist area is where we can see all our songs listed in our set list. Tapping on a song will select that song and allow us to play it. If we want to start on a specific section of the song, we can double tap on that section and start from there. Again, pressing return to start will take us back to the beginning of our song. Over on the right side of the app, we have our master control level. That's going to allow us to set the master level of all our tracks minus our click and guide cues. If we want to change the volume and steps, we can use this plus and this minus button to step up or down in our volume. Next is our pan button. This is an incredibly important feature. If I press pan, that's going to separate my click and guides to the left and the rest of my content to the right. Again, as you saw earlier, if we're in settings, we have the option to enable and lock pan as well. Next is our MIDI button. This is going to allow us to map any function that we see light up blue here to a MIDI controller. This is an incredible feature of Playback Pro that allows us to kind of step away from our iPad and just control it without people really knowing what we're doing, and gives us greater control over what we're doing in Playback Pro. Next is our live looping function. So I can play a section like this, and instead of going on to the next section, if I press loop, then you'll see the loop button enable, and we're going to jump back and repeat that section. Our guide cue is also going to update because of dynamic guide cues. And then finally, we have our mixer display. This is incredibly simple to understand. We first have a solo button, which is going to mute every other track except for this track. If we want to mute the track we're on, we can click the track name to mute it, or we can use the fader to adjust the volume up or down however we'd like it to be. So that's a quick look at the Playback Pro interface available on iPad.